Uh, yeah, hi everyone. Am I audible? Mm,
Yes, you're audible, Shaista.
yeah, should we start or should we wait for the joinees?
Let's just wait for five minutes,
Mm-hmm.
then we can start. Just
ठीक
wait for Angela to join.
ठीक done. If I let me know when. So, good afternoon, everyone. As I have been instructed to start away with the session, so I hereby take the opportunity of welcoming Nisar Ahmed sir, who had been the president of Institute of Companies Secretaries of India (ICSI). He earlier served as the vice president of the same firm for the year 2011. He is a graduate in commerce and a fellow member of the Institute of Company Secretaries of India. Mr. Ahmed is a practicing company secretary at New Delhi. Mr. Ahmed practices as a company secretary in areas of corporate and securities law since 1993, with specialization in company secretarial and representation services, corporate laws, business restructuring, merger and amalgamation, operation and management, merchant banking, and other legal matters. Today, we are very fortunate to have him to present a seminar. He has also been a very ardent member of various NGOs, and he has been a lecturer, and he has hosted n number of myriad number of seminars as well. So today the topic of the seminar is going to be doing business through incorporated body. So yeah, with this, I welcome Mr. Nisar Ahmed, and I am handing over the webinar to you, sir. Over to you, sir. Welcome. You may begin.
Hello.
Yes, sir, you're audible.
Thank you very much. I think you have been given a very the information that we have already shared. I believe I have mentioned to you that earlier I have shared with IFRA was having all details about my latest biodata. But anyway, you have taken an old one, which was there somewhere in the. You are not coordinated by being no problem. So now the topic is 1 minute. 1 minute.
I think there is some technical issues, sir. I think the network issue is there. So please check that.
Am I audible or not?
Yes, sir, you're audible now.
Yes.
Yes,
Now,
sir.
doing business through incorporated body basically is a topic today for deliberations. And if you see this, the total part, I can give you this example of having a very large-based corporations in India, because there are various mode of doing business. The one is that proprietorship. Conventionally, we have been doing proprietary business, and the second one is the partnership. The third one is the issue of limited liability partnership. Now, the new concept has been mentioned, the limited liability partnership. And then finally, we have a very old story of having incorporated body. Now, incorporated body is a very old concept during the 1856, almost 200 years plus, almost 150 years first, where this concept was mooted in England, and then we have started doing business in that format. Now, if you see this in total, the companies registered as on 31st August 2020, it's a 20 lakhs companies in India we have. And out of 20 lakhs companies registered, effectively today the working companies in India are 12,44,791. This is the state of affairs. This concept. Now, prior to that, this company, these are the statistics. You can see this on the system. 20 lakhs companies registered on the roll of Ministry of Corporate Affairs, number of closed company and so and so. Last 5, number of active companies, we have around 12,44,000. That is the data available on the website of the ministry on 31st of August. So look at this, these are the companies available to. Now, these are the tax requirement. Why you should choose the doing business through incorporated body? The reason is that taxation part is one part. Then we go for another part. The tax part, if you see the partnership or unregistered or registered partnership or LLP is having the tax is 30% tax. Whatever income earned, the 30% taxation. Company without MAT benefit, 22%. So incorporated body, if that is the business is doing through incorporated.
Sir, you are not audible.
Exemptions, the rate of taxation is 25%. Am I clear?
Sir, you're not audible. Like your voice is breaking in between. If am I the only one who is facing such problem, or the participants are also facing the problem?
15%. All right. So if someone is registered under a startup mode with the ministry portal, the rate of taxation is 15%. All right. So that is the benefit. Company with without MAT benefit. And so here is a tax benefit available.
Sir, you are not
Our
audible.
government is now making mention from last year. Am I audible or not? Hello? Hello?
This
Hello?
is breaking in between. Yeah, your voice is breaking in between and your screen is freezing in between. So yeah, I think there is some technical glitches. There are some technical glitches. Am I the only one facing this, or the other participants are also
So
facing
let
this?
us now start with, no, I'm getting very well.
Okay.
I'm getting your voice very well. There is no problem. So
Okay, continue, sir, continue.
now incorporated association, what is the benefit? Why one should go for, no, this, therefore there is a need for choose at the time of doing business. What kind of mode you are going to start with? As I mentioned initially, the proprietary the company form, you have two mode, 15% and 22% without any here, what is called the system which we have budget, and after budget that government has now added this concept of having doing business through incorporated mode. So they are encouraging, and if that's so, then you look at this benefit, why we need to have incorporated format instead of having without incorporated body. It says the artificial legal person. So therefore, once you are having a registered incorporated body, it is an artificial legal person. Means that means shareholders or the party who is associated with the organization as a director or shareholder are separate from the legal creation. It's a legal body like human body. Similarly, it's a legal creation, legal person. So he can sue or be sued. So you can, in the name of company, everything could be done. Instead of doing in the name of individual, an incorporated body can sue or be sued, or can enforce its legal contractual obligation. So that is one of the largest benefit of so many benefits, but one of the biggest benefit that the succession is not the issue. I'm coming little later, but artificial legal person, incorporation, after incorporation, it is a legal body created or separate from the natural person. It means natural person may come and go as a shareholder, may can transfer the shares to anybody else. One can be the director and resign the directorship. Somebody else is joining job. So they are separate and the company is separate. As I mentioned, the second part is separate legal entity, and the separate legal entity talks of again the same word. The third one is the limited liability. Now, if anything goes wrong in the doing business, then the liability of the members are limited to the extent of shares subscribed. And if money has already been paid, then there is no further liability. In case of partnership or proprietorship, liability is unlimited. So it means if the business failed, or if there is any legal obligation, any claim against the business, then the partners are supposed to bring and make good of those liability. But here is in the case of incorporated body, the liability is very much limited. So one cannot enforce so beyond the company, one cannot go and ask shareholders to participate in the process of mitigating the liability. As I mentioned in the earlier part, perpetual existence. The next point is it's a perpetual existence, meaning thereby person may come and go, but company will remain there unless it is dissolved, unless it is wound up through the legal process. So that would be through the process of law. Incorporation is through the process of law. So these are the perpetual existence. Therefore, continuity is there. Now, in case of partnership or proprietorship, if the individual has gone, then the partnership dissolve. So you need to again reorient, have the new organization. But company, in the case of company, the shareholders gone, the legal heirs can acquire the shares through transmission mode and become the shareholders and owner of the company. So there is a perpetual succession. Company will remain there in place of the party who is not there in between. Distinction between ownership and management. Now, next point is the benefit of incorporation, that there is complete distinctions between the ownership and management. They are separate and the legal entity is separate. The next point is transferability of shares. If the shares are in the company is easily transferable through negotiation or through the value of business, one can transfer the shares to anyone he or she chose to, subject to articles of association. There is certain restrictions for a private companies, but in case of public, there are two types of companies, incorporated body. One is a private limited company, another is public limited company. Now, in case of public limited company, there is no restriction for transferability. You can choose to transfer the shares to anybody. But in case of private limited company, generally it is bound by in the articles of association that what is the mode of transfer, how you are going to transfer or sell the shares, not into public, but you have to offer first to the existing members and so on. So these are the criteria laid down in the articles of association to bind the shareholders of the company. So transferability is very there. Now, as far as the next point is there, in case of incorporated body, there is a lot of transparency, a right to access the information. What is transparency? At large, government, any society, they can see the transparency, they can see the information posted to the registrar of companies, and it is very to gain momentum and to get kind of confidence into the system. The next one is the easy accessibility of finance and collaboration. Now, in case of incorporated body, one can easily finance as a financial participation from the bankers, from the mutual funds, from other agencies, private equity, or so on and so forth. Because then this is the perpetual succession you are going to deal with, or partnering with a person with a finance, that you know that the incorporated body is a having perpetual succession. You know the management, you know the financial figures available in the public domain, and it is subjected to again some audit and all kind of thing. So, and then there is some obligations and covenant on the part of the directors and the shareholders. So these are all obligations under the law. Therefore, people are very comfortable, particularly the banker and financial institutions and other term lending institutions, that to give finance to the incorporated body than up to private company, this partnership form, or to what is called this proprietary concern. Similarly, the collaboration, there are within India and outside India, with the business in India, a lot of collaboration is happening, financial collaboration, technical collaborations, and so on and so forth. Therefore, incorporated body is beneficial for the purpose of having a collaboration with the internal members and external members of society, like India, within India and outside India. So therefore, a lot of benefits accrue to as against the other side. Am I audible? All right. Hello.
Yes, sir. You are audible.
All right. So next point. Right. Thank you. So next point is, therefore, if you see the benefits to incorporation as contrast to LLP or partnership or say proprietary concern, the incorporated body format has lot of benefits for doing business, and that's why those who are thinking of expansion, doing business in the larger scale, beyond the territory, beyond the district, beyond the ward or so, they want to expand their business, it would be always better to start with incorporated body. That is the message through this slide. Now, therefore, once you decide to have, if someone is decided to go for doing business through incorporated body, now 5 points very important, initial thought process to go. What could be the name of the company? You have to choose the name. A name should be desirable name. There is a desirability, the ministry follow certain rules while incorporating a company. Name, what kind of name you are intending to, if that is a name already in existence, you won't be allowed to start the business with a similar name, which is already there in somebody else's domain. So name of the company, and one can find out from the portal of the Ministry of Corporate Affairs whether a particular name chosen to is already been registered or not, or available for registration otherwise. And that is very easily, one can access to the system, mca.gov.in, and one can go and log into the system, incorporation, and go for desirability of name, proposed name. The second one is that what object for which the company is being incorporated. The second part, technical, of course, that is the object part of the company. What would be the object? What someone is interested to do business for what? So that you have to narrate the whole story, what you intend to do in the particular company. So having decided first the name should be compiled with the objectives of the company. So object clause will be very, very thoroughly been mentioned. There are also again certain help available to in the ministry portal, that if you intend to go back to the system, they will suggest you if you want to do some telecommunications business or some business you thought of, hospitality, then they are giving you kind of desired objects, standards. So need not be worried about, you can pick up from there and incorporate in the documents. But what should be meticulously followed to what objects you are going to put. Because why I'm saying this, you cannot be allowed, I mean, the company, once the company is incorporated, it cannot be allowed to do business beyond the objectives. So you have to have objectives very clear. So other than objects, the company is not permitted to do business other than the object for which company is formed. So one should be very clear from day one what object you are going to pursue. If at all you want to do diversify business into some other company, of course you can do so, but we have to change the alternate all object clause. You have to incorporate a new object clause. And you say that we are going to abandon the earlier object clause, or we are going to substitute with a new object clause. And there are processes there. So it is possible anytime after 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, or 1 year, one can think of that with the same company, we can do some other business other than this, because this business is not doing very well. So one can change the object clause and do business thereafter, and to register first. So these are all processes. One can go into deep micro, but I am today really dealing with the macro management of doing business through incorporated body. The third one is shareholders. Who all are the person available to incorporate the company? You have to decide how many shareholders, 2 shareholders minimum for a private company, and for a public limited company, minimum 7 members required to be associated together to form a company. So minimum 2 for a private limited company, and for the public limited company, it should be not less than 7 members. But as far as maximum members are concerned, for a private company, we have a threshold of 200. You cannot go on beyond membership of 200. But in case of public limited company, there is no restriction on the maximum number of shareholders. So one really can see what shareholders you can. So once you choose the mode of company, private or public, really one can go and do it business with the shareholders part. And shareholders necessary that they are going to contribute some money by subscribing to the shares of the company. Now, and then the next point is authorized and paid up capital. These are the minimum requirement technically. What kind of registered capital? What is the meaning between these two? Why I am putting these two words, authorized and paid up? The capital means what money you are going to bring it to, so 5,000 to 50,000 to 1 lakh to do business to start with. But once the company is registered, you have to give some numbers. Earlier it was minimum 1 lakh rupees, but that restrictions have been removed. So today you can start with a company with a 5,000 rupees company, or 1,000 rupees company, or a 500 rupees company minimum. I mean, there is no minimum threshold which earlier one restricted to no, you can't do business incorporated body business format unless you have a capital, minimum capital of rupees 1 lakh. In case of private company, and in case of public limited company, so 5 lakhs. So minimum cap was there. There is no upper cap, but minimum cap was there. But now that cap has been removed. Minimum cap of having authorized paid up capital has been removed. Now, what is the difference between these two, authorized and paid up? Authorized capital is the registered capital. In other words, That secondly, it is called also, it is normally called registered capital. I mean, you have to mention how much amount you intend to raise from the shareholders, up to which. So beyond which, if you want to, you have to alter the authorized capital. But paid up capital could be as and when someone is subscribing to the shares, when we are floating the shares could be subscribed within the family, outside, friends, relatives, or so and so public at large. You can go and get it through private placement kind of thing and increase the capital, called paid up capital. So once the money is paid, that is called paid up capital. Once the money is paid to the company, as I mentioned in my beginning, company is separate, is a legal creation, separate entity, legal entity, than of the individual who is managing the company. So what money is being paid to the company bank account, that could be called paid up capital. And authorized means within which one can be paid up. So if the authorized capital is 1 lakh, you can raise the capital up to 1 lakh rupees. Beyond that, if you intend to get the shares subscriber and joining you as a company shareholders, one can go and change the authorized capital to another sum like 2 lakhs or 5 lakhs or 10 lakhs and pay some with every capital, registered capital, a very nominal amount require registration charges, which require to be paid to the government. So this is the point. And last on this issue is the directors. Who could be the directors of the company? Directors is the authorized person or nominee of the shareholders. There could be only one person. I mean, minimum 2 directors in case of private company, and the maximum there is a limit up to 15. You can do it, and there is no problem. But beyond that, you can do it. But in case of public limited company, minimum directors 3. So public limited company 3 directors minimum, and the private company 2 directors are minimum director. Now these are the 2 nomenclature required. So one really has to choose. Generally, in case of private limited company, the family members or the person who is promoter of the company, who promotes the company idea, is generally the shareholders and the members of the board. But one can have the independent members also. You can have somebody else who is not even shareholders but could be the directors. So these are the 5 points required pre-incorporation brainstorming, you can say. I'm using the word brainstorming on pre-incorporation. Any question up till now? Any question anybody has? Any question so that we can move further? Any question? Anyone is it understandable or not first? Because it's a highly technical subject. It is not a normal business. Say anybody has any question, participants, or can we go ahead with this otherwise we have a question answer session together. Benefit of incorporation, tax benefit. Yes. Any question? Anybody has any question, participant? Can we move to next level?
Yes, sir. I think we should move on to the next level. There aren't any questions as of
There
now.
is no
Yet.
question. Up till now, there is no question.
Yes, sir.
The next, their level is now, once it is decided, in the previous slide, as I mentioned, name of the company, object clause, shareholders, authorized and paid up capital, and directors. Once we decide pre-incorporation, then you go for incorporation. What is incorporation is, the process is there. It's a detailed process. And it is all there in the, as I mentioned, for the purpose of incorporation, only one portal is there, that is the Ministry of Corporate Affairs portal, MCA, that is called www.mca.gov.in. Log into that, you will find all information, most of the information from ministry through FAQs or whatever it is. So a lot of question answers are there. And the methodology is like that. Once you decide the 5 elements, that name, the object, the capital, the shareholders, and the directors. Once it is decided pre-incorporation mode, then we go for the incorporation. These are the all formats available for incorporation. This is the online no need to go to physical filing and all. That is a form called SPICE plus web form, which deals with around 10 to 12 registration and very easy, reduce the procedural time and cost for doing business and starting business. Because doing business, you need PAN number, you need bank account, you need so many things. You can't do business without having this minimum requirement. So therefore, this SPICE form is integrated with the web form offering 10 services. And if you look at these 10 services, these are the services available to name reservation, part A. Part B is for incorporation, director's identification number allotment. One cannot be the director without having a D number, director's identification number allotted by ministry. Then and then only one can act as a director. Otherwise not. Mandatory issue of PAN. So PAN would be generated upon incorporation immediately. So need not go and file to the income tax department to get permanent account number. So these are the, government has given ease of doing business concept. So through a SPICE form, one can get these all tax identification number, accounts number, mandatory issue of tax. I mean, that's very important because no business entity can be functioning in India without having permanent account, because you can't open a bank account without PAN number. This is very important. Mandatory issue of EPFO registration, Employees Provident Fund organization registration number. You may not opt it for a registration right away, because you need to have at least 20 members to be mandatory require registration. Because EPF require, if someone is employees are there in organization 20 plus, then one really has to go, is a mandatory requirement for having registration Employees Provident Fund. Similarly, we have, if someone is not doing business, manufacturing or so, or job work, ESIC is not required. So like that, but they will give you option whether you want to tick or not talk. Mandatory issue for professional tax registration in case of Maharashtra only state that require a mandatory tax registration, profession tax registration. Opening a bank account, they will ask you which bank you intend to open a bank account. So upon incorporation of a limited liability company, which bank you intend to? There are all kind of bank lists available to, a long list available to. And therefore, you have to choose which bank account, who would be your banker upon incorporation. So need not worry going pillar to post for opening a bank account, providing all information, because this information seamlessly would be provided to by the government portal system to the bankers. Last allotment of GST number. If you feel that I am not going to start my business, my turnover will not be more than 40 lakhs this year or next year, you did not go for registration. It is again option available too. But if you feel that during the year or so, we will be having the turnover more than 40 lakhs into the business, so one can go for, because threshold limit for registration of GST, because a lot of benefits available to, because you have to input tax, whatever services or businesses you are going to pay tax to the third party by sourcing the materials or goods or services. You can get the exemption. You need not. You can get a credit of that amount by input. That is called input tax. So sometime else we discuss, because on its own, GST is a very severe subject, and it's a very tough subject for deal with and discuss with. But here is the, for incorporation, if someone is interested to do business through incorporated body, there are a host of services available as a low-hanging fruits. Need not worry about what should you do, and you are spending. Generally, it takes 3 months around to struggle to go for this registration, that registration, PAN, TAN registration, and so on and so forth, GST registration, opening a bank account, 3 to 4 weeks time, this document, that document. But now it's very easy. Upon incorporation, your banker will ring you that you have chosen us. Thank you very much. We are coming to you. Please allow us to meet, and then we will open and we will get your signature on particular format, and then your account is activated. Your number is available too. So very same day, you can ask your counterpart if once the bank account is open upon incorporation, same day or next day, Then you ask your foreign collaborator to remit the money as a shareholders, as a collaboration contribution to the account of the banker, or you can yourself put the money into the company within 30 days. Of course, time is there, but one can do it into the banking system. So this is the very big benefit through incorporated body, that these all host of services which are not there in the. But what I'm saying, if it is what I mentioned here, it is not available to this facility to system like partnership and proprietorship business. So any question before I move to this important aspect before incorporation process? Any question up till now? You can pause and ask any question. Anybody can ask any question because you can't understand at that time. Later on, anybody has any question? Can we move further?
Any questions from the participants? Yes,
Because
I
that's
think we should.
a monologue. I need a kind of communication, to and fro communication. If there is any question.
Fatima has a question. Fatima, you raise your hand, you can ask.
I
Yes,
wanted
please.
to ask what was the website Sir mentioned for incorporation? Sir
Yes.
mentioned a website in the beginning for incorporating a
Yes,
company.
it is called www. Listen carefully, Fatima.
Yeah.
www.mca, Ministry of Corporate Affairs, a small format, mca.gov, gov.in.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much.
.in. So that is the portal available to all the stakeholders to venture to visit it, to find out, raise some questions, get the answer as well. If you are not getting something, FAQs are there. Frequently asked questions are placed there. If any difficulty being faced, one can raise questions and raise the ticket and get the answer. Thank you. Any other question? Can we move further? Can we go further on this? All right. The next. Any other question up till now on incorporation board? No other question? No question? Okay. It's a very heavy dose because it's not a normal process, but those who are doing business or intend to do business or give some guidance to the somebody to in a family or relations to do business, what kind of business, as I mentioned, proprietary business, we all know conventionally. You start with some name and have domain name, etc. and all, start doing business. Get PAN and TAN and then go for, so but basically tax is very heavy. The government is discouraging 30%. There is a slab, 10%, 20%, 30%. Sorry, 5%, 20%, and 30% in case of proprietary business. So anyway, important aspect before starting incorporation process. So the moment you thought process, the next level would be before filing SPIC or a SPICE form, we used to call it SPICE e-form, one really has to identify who could be the director, who are the director. You mentioned that brainstorming at that time, 5 points consideration. Who would be the directors? So once you decide these are the directors, then you have to see whether this gentleman or lady is having the director's identification number. If that not so, then you just mention that you are also intending to have the DIN number generated in place against the so-and-so person who is a proposed director. So put it the same in the SPICE form. There is a column asked. The question asks whether the gentleman is or lady is having director identification number. If so, please fill the numbers. Is a number, numeric number. The director identification number, you put it that number. And if it is not so, then the question may arise further. There is another column in that particular format that, okay, you intend to have a director's identification number first time you are going to apply. Answer is yes, then they will process without any further processing. In case of number of subscribers, directors of MOA, that is a memorandum of association or articles of association. Why E? Because everything is to be E mode. We need not physically filing any documents. Already it was. So that's why the word is EMOA, EAOA, but so and so is mentioned. More than 20 directors or subscribers name is there. So then you need to obtain DIN or PAN number. It's a mandatory for each one of them to obtain digital signature certificates. DSC, it's called DSC, short format. We have added there DSC. Digital signature, one really has to class 2 at least. So class 2 digital signature is required for incorporation document and filing this document. But generally we used to incorporate typically with the 2 members or 5 members or 7 members, not beyond that initially. In case of private company, minimum 2. Thereafter, after incorporation, you can add many more shareholders into the system. But generally, we advise to our prospective client, generally we don't do more than 2 in case of private company. You know that a lot of issues require signature, witnesses, and so on and so forth. In order to get the easy process, we generally advise the client to go for 2 members in case of private company, or 7 members you identify from the family or friends to be the subscriber to the memorandum. Registration of digital signature on portal is very important. Once the digital signature is obtained from the agency, there is a different agencies working for providing you digital signature class 2, class 3, class 4. So once you have the class 2 minimum, is a small one signature, you need to get yourself registered the signature. Unless it is a portal is registered, portal will not accept the whatever you are signing for the purpose of incorporation or other thing. The ministry portal will not recognize your signature. So therefore, what is the requirement? To get itself registered with the director portal of the minister. So this is the story as far as the pre-incorporation brainstorming part is concerned. Similarly, name, father's name, date of birth, address, etc. Required for PIN code, of course, driving license for the purpose of identification. Someone name, identification, etc. Proposed name and its significance. Why you need to have X name? What is the significance of that particular name? And if that name is matched with the foreign company's name, or somebody, if you want to a domain name of a foreign legal entity, then you need to have also no objection certificate by way of board resolution, notarized and consularized or apostille by the host country. So therefore, that is a very important. Therefore, the choose of name, as I mentioned 5 points initially, this require a kind of discussions. Is this clear to anyone and everyone? Foreign names, if you want to have foreign names in your domain name of incorporated body, this require NOC from that particular foreign entity. Otherwise, it will be difficult. Then somebody can sue the company that you have used my domain name, my trademark, and without my permission. So you have infringed my rights. So there is a litigation. To avoid this litigation, and a lot of cost going to involve. If you are losing the case, a lot of penalty is going to pay for misusing the domain name of a foreign entity. Even if for the legal entity registered in India, and if you intend to register with the same name, that could not be allowed unless the resolution is approved, NOC is given to by the existing company in India even. So this is all about thinking process. Now, declaration, the documents required, consent, etc. You need to have the consent in writing in the particular format from the directors who intend to be the director upon incorporation. So DR2 is the format is there as per law. Then similarly, you need to also have another form available to duly signed by the proposed director with regard to their concern or interest in other body corporate. Suppose I am going to incorporate a company and I am also a body corporate in which I am a director or shareholders. I need to explain how many companies I am a director or shareholders. That is a format called MBP1. That is the form that one can download from the portal, as I mentioned in the beginning, and file it. So this MBP1, DR8 and DR2, 3 documents required. Last point is that here is in this forum is the utility bills as proof of registered office, because this company, as I mentioned in the beginning of the discussion, that legal entity is a separate from shareholders. It is a legal creation, perpetual succession. Shareholders may come and go, directors may come and go, but the company will remain there. Therefore, company must have a domicile. What is the registered office? Where the company start functioning with? That is a legal address. You can say so in a simple language. Registered office means legal address at which all government, all the parties connected with the companies, whether it's the bankers, employees, anyone, everyone would be interacting, or the income tax department, sales tax department, GST department, whatever it is. Whole world is going to interact with the company at the registered office address. So therefore, there is a lot of significance to have it, and you have to disclose the address and police station number, name, and NOC from the owner. If that is not owned, of course, that is a new entity. You don't have ownership of that particular place. So whosoever is appointed, one of the director or the shareholders is having ownership, or if you feel that you are going to have registered lease deed or unregistered lease deed, then you have to have a document NOC from the owner of the property, which is going to be called registered office. Very important. One really has to take care of this aspect. But once you are going to incorporate a company, this utility bills must not be older than 2 months. Otherwise, it will not be accepted by the ministry. If it is the older version of utility bill. Utility bill, all you know, water bill, electricity bill, gas connections, so on and so forth, telephone connection, and so on and so forth. So one really has to think. Details of subscriber along with their contribution and capital structure. This has to be mentioned very categorically. Who is contributing how much? Someone is contributing 500 rupees, someone is contributing 5,000 rupees, someone is contributing 5 lakhs rupees. So whatever contribution coming from the subscribers who are the named, who are associated with the formation of the company or incorporation of the company, must disclose their contribution. Don't pay because there is no company existence. So upon incorporation, pay the money to the bankers of the company. PAN of all subscriber is required. If nationality is of the subscriber is foreigner, like you are one of the members and your partner is living in New York or New Zealand or Australia or elsewhere in the other than India, and both of you decide to incorporate a company as a partner. So really the tax identification number is required from the foreign subscriber. Valid passport and tax identification number if he's taxed in that local jurisdiction. Like PAN. PAN is mandatory for everyone who is subscribing to the income tax department. Or account, opening a bank account, you need a PAN or Aadhaar. Similarly, in the outside, the nationality is having given a particular number, nationality number. So every citizen of that particular country is having some number, a doc number. That number would be given to so that they can verify. The system will verify. Need not worry about all these things. Everything is now faceless. Need not go and do all kind of things. Residential proof of subscriber, as mentioned, mobile bill, telephone bill, bank statement, or electricity bill. That is a residential proof of subscriber. Whatever address you are going to incorporate. What is the intent behind? Why we need this all information? Why government need? Because the what address you are going to give it to that, the notice, etc., all this information should be clear information. It should not be in a fake, because a lot of in the past we found a lot of issues. The names are there, but addresses are wrong. No one is living at that particular address. So a lot of issues are there. Agencies are now running from here to there. So now government has said no company would be incorporated unless the subscriber or directors have given their address, residential address, will full proof. A proof could be anything, as you mentioned those. Valid ID proof, it can be among voter ID, passport, driving license, or Aadhaar. So these are the 4 identified for the purpose of individual KYC or ID. And the last point on this segment is subscriber is a foreign company, then you have to have attached the certificate of incorporation. If a foreign body corporate is subscribing, Yes, this is a possibility. A lot of businesses are happening because through foreign direct investment, lot many companies are coming to in India, joining hands with another company in India, or some individual like me and you could be a partner with another company and say, hey, why don't you start the business in India? And we will be collaborator, we'll bring this much money, you take care of my business in India, because it's opening up economy. Almost 99.99% of the economies in India are open for everyone and everyone to grab. Minus 4 countries, Pakistan, Bangladesh, China, and Bhutan, and that's called the neighboring countries who are having land border. That is again Nepal. So if they are doing business, they can't go a straight way under automatic route. They need to have permission from government if they intend to do business in India and subscribe to the shareholders as a shareholders. So any investment by these countries, person or incorporated body, they need to have prior clearance from the government of India. These have been initiated after 23rd of April 2020. So thereafter, any further things happening from these countries, and they are also adding internally, though there is no public domain, but Hong Kong they are treating as a part of China. So therefore, China is having land border. Therefore, prior clearance is required from the Ministry of Finance and Department of Industrial Policy and Planning, that is Ministry of Commerce and Industry. So one really has to get apply. But other than those, like Singaporean, Americans, anyone and everyone, other than these 5, one can straight away to put his money without any permission of anybody through proper banking channel upon incorporation. That is easiest mode. Today, the company company generally takes 2 to 3 days to incorporate. Once the incorporation is done, same day your bank account is open, or next day, same time you can get the money. So really, you can do business within 7 days without any much hassles. So these are the benefits government of India has extended to all the citizen, both Indian citizen and foreign citizen, to do business with ease. These are all details. I need not spend time on this because registration, EPFO, ESI is a secondary mandatory. I mean, I don't want to get a lot of stress on your head, because this all technical part that's not required for you to understand for the time being. Things to be kept in mind during incorporation. Yes, that is all technical part. This is not for up to 15 lakhs rupees capital, authorized capital. There is no filing fees. The government has given further ease of doing business through incorporated body format. The last point here is in this slide is companies getting incorporated through a SPICE with an authorized capital up to rupees INR 15 lakhs would continue to enjoy 0 filing fees concession. So there is no filing fee to be paid as far as registration of memorandum and articles of association is concerned. Very nominal 200-300 rupees required to be paid for stamp duty. So really lot of benefits that government is extending. The whole idea behind that to have a transparency and disclosure. If you want to do business, you do business, but you must be very transparent what you do, what you are doing, or what is your finance, who is the partner, who is the shareholder, who is the director. It should be known to which bankers you are dealing with. All right, what is your plan, what is your time? So all that information would be stored or made available to government seamlessly about the person or persons, companies, once you have incorporated body. So up to that, is incorporation process is over. So I leave it for the timing here to have a question. Any question up till now on the discussions? Do you have any question, any participants, friends?
Hello, Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam.
This is Mohammed Fahad.
Yes, Mr. Fahad. Yes.
Actually, we have started a company. Am I audible? Hello.
Yes. Very well.
Yeah.
Yes.
In 2017, we have registered a company in limited liability partners. As you said that there is a 30% of tax for the LLP, limited liability partners. Is there anything
Yeah.
we can convert that limited liability partners into some other better tax benefited
Only benefit is there for
type of
yes,
registration?
yes. Answer is yes. It is your decision whether limited liability partnership. I mean, once you have decided limited liability partnership, and if you are doing business with a managing partner, somebody is there, designated partner in India, at least one designated partner is required in who should be the Indian. That is a mode. Yes, answer is yes, because now tax benefit only accrue to last year budget report and some 22% that has been now extended to incorporated body. But similar benefit was not extended to limited liability partnership or the partnership or the proprietorship. So tax benefit is only there, what government has announced, if you remember. But a lot of representation made, but so far government has not extended that particular benefit tax concession to a different format of business other than incorporated body. Yes, you can do it. You can think through, go to your friend, consultant, or anyone. You can do is you can raise question to the MCA portal and give you all kind of suggestion. You will get answer. FAQs are there.
Yeah.
Both FAQs for limited liability partnership as well as for incorporated. Any other question? Am I clear?
Yeah, I have one more question. Actually, we have registered in one
Yes.
address. That registered office address is earlier in 2017. We have registered in one address. Currently, we have moved that office because some of that building construction we have vacated. Currently, we are in some other location. What is the process we have to
Right.
change the address? Is there any problem we will face
Yes.
regarding this registered
Right.
address? Yeah.
Oh, yes, definitely. The law require you to follow the law. Once you are part of system, you have to follow the system. The word system is saying 30 days within which you notify to the registrar of companies or registrar of LLP. The company registrar of company is also registrar of LLP, right? Within 30 days from the date of shifting the registered office to location within the same municipal limit. When I say municipal limit, say example like Delhi. Delhi is NCT of Delhi. The moment you go beyond NCT of Delhi, then one really has to go and get the permission of the shareholders.
Okay.
Beyond the estate. Then, and beyond estate, one estate to another estate, then require a permission pre-clearance from central government, that is regional director. So these are the process, but within the same vicinity, if you are moving your registered office within the same estate, within estate, shareholders approval is required. Convene the meeting of shareholders, pass a resolution, notify this. There is a format called INC 22 format. Download it from the ministry portal. As I mentioned, www.mca.gov.in. Download that particular form, fill the form online, deposit, pre-scrutiny is done, pay the money, 200 rupees, or depend upon what is authorized capital you have. Registration for registration of the new document. Depend upon, again, size of the authorized capital. Fine. So 30 days is a window available to notify. Answer is you can do it, Mr. Fahad. Within 30 days, within the same municipal limit, only board resolution is required. Am I clear or?
Yeah.
All right. Hello. Hello. Mr. Fahad?
Yeah, it is clear.
Sorry.
Sir.
Okay, good.
But
okay.
if
Okay.
Yeah, if the duration is already over, 30 days is over, is
Yes, you have to
there
pay additional fees. Hello. If it is already been notified, more than 30 days is over from the date. No, you need to have the approval of the board or shareholders, as I mentioned. After the board or shareholders approval, within 30 days of the date from the time of approval of the board, you have to notify. And there is a form in the form INC 22, there is a column from what date the change has taken place. So always better is to have the within 30 days time frame, because 30 days reckon with from the date of resolution, but with effect from so and so date or prospective date
Yes, sir.
you mention. But if you mention past date, 30 days is over, then you pay additional fees. Simple. So that is a smartness you have to play. Okay. Is this clear? Hello. Sorry. Can I move further? Hello.
Yes, sir. It's clear now. Yeah, I got.
Okay, fine. Any question? Anybody else is having any question up till now? Now I can go to altogether different route MSMEs. Though it is a very detailed discussion required, but I try to give 5 minutes on MSME and a startup, 5 minutes each. All right.
Yep.
Yeah. The government of India has given a new definition to micro and a small medium enterprise. It could be partnership, it could be proprietorship, it could be an incorporated body. There is nothing called incorporation. But MSME definition, micro and a small medium enterprise, with effect from 1st July 2020, they have given a new definition to these agencies, and that lot of benefits accrue to that. We'll discuss definitely, as Impar suggests, in our series of discussions on the webinars on this kind of assurance. MSME would be another point which require a thorough discussions around 1 hour on the subject. But just to give a bird eye view, if the investment in the plant and machinery or equipment is not more than rupees 1 crore by an enterprise, whether it is incorporated or not, then it will be treated as micro enterprise. Micro enterprise. Similarly, investment and annual turnover, if the annual turnover not more than 5 crores, again it will be treated. Even if you have 1 lakh rupees investment in plant and machinery, like you have 5 computers, so it is 2 lakh rupees, but your turnover, you are a service provider. Now in that scenario, if the turnover of services is coming to around 1 crore rupees or 2 crore rupees in a year, still you will be termed as micro enterprise. For a small enterprise, there is definition up to 10 crore rupees investment in plant machinery, and the turnover should not exceed 50 crore. And for the medium enterprise, 50 crore investment in the plant and equipment, and turnover must not exceed to 250 crore. Thereafter, that benefit should not be available to these agencies. So if you are having these things, one can go for registration, very simple process, and get lot of benefits into this system. These are, I have listed a few benefits, but I will leave it or not spend much time on this. Collateral free loan facilities and priority lending, the new scheme of MSME with effect from 1st July. If the certain up to 10 lakhs rupees, no collateral free, no collateral document deed is required, but only thing you have to be registered with. Credit link capital subsidy for MSME, low interest rate on loan of almost 0.5%, lesser than what a banker is offering to other agencies. MSME registered agency enterprise is getting low rate of interest. Incubation scheme for MSME, market development assistance schemes, subsidy on patent registration, and protection against delayed payments. If you don't pay, payment is delayed, then a lot of protection is now there. Tax exemption for innovative startups and concession to electricity bills, tender preference to MSMEs. So these are the benefits for which available to micro and small medium enterprise, provided that agency must be registered with the Ministry of Industry, MSME ministry, then get the all benefit to that. Registration is very simple. One can go to the site. I have given a link also for registration. Quick, one can you can go for that and get yourself registered. Process fully online, paperless, and based on self-declaration. Very simple process. Registration can be completed by visiting government portal for MSME, and the link is there for that. udyamregistration.gov.in or government-iindia/ministry/MSME registration.htm. So there are two models. If you go to the ministry site, MSME ministry site, you can find registration. These documents, you get the link quickly. After completion of process of registration, you can get it. A certificate will generate and provide you on your email ID, registered mail ID, online itself. So it is a job of around 1 hour maximum time, provided you finish the documentation. So these are the very simple process. One can get all benefits after that. And the last but not the least, I just try to figure on a startup benefits under a Startup India. We have the lot of advertisement or movement going on from Prime Minister to other ministry that Startup India, self-certification, compliance under 3 environment and 6 labor laws, patent application for IPR protections or 80% rebate, tax exemption for 3 years. You need not pay even if you have a taxable income. You would be free exempted from for paying tax to the government for 3 years. Easier public procurement norms. These are the 4 patently that benefits available to a startup. But it is always better to go through incorporated mode for doing this business through the MSME's registration or because we have seen practically it is difficult. A startup business for registration, the link is there. Simple online process of registration. Link is there, startupindia.gov.in. Log on www.startupindia.gov.in. Then one can go into the system and get itself all information. Lot of benefits available to you. So with this all, I conclude my part of presentation, but definitely we have a good number of, around 20 minutes or 30 minutes, 25 minutes to have the Q&A. On any issue, you can discuss about the incorporation, tax, startup, and so on and so forth. So with this, I congratulate Impar or thank Impar for opportunity given to me to discuss with you all this topic of doing business through incorporated body. My compliment to all of you for participation, and a few of you have raised question, but still the time is there for us to raise questions and all sorts of query which you have in your mind. Thank you from my side.
Thank you so much, sir.
Yes.
We now open the window for Q&A, that is question and
The
answer
house
session.
is open. Yes.
And somebody has also asked for the PPT for incorporation process by Nisar Ahmed, sir. Can we have the PPT? So somebody has asked for it. So if you can share it.
PPT would be made available to everyone. Anyway, it is made available to. It will be. But PPT you can't read, understand. All these things is so technical. But yes, it will be there. We got the. I'll send it to Mr. Khalid or Khalid Saab ko bhej dunga main. I'll share with you.
Sir,
Sure,
sir, you
sir.
can share with me. I will forward if somebody needs it.
Email ID, then we'll share with you.
Yeah, sure, I'll send it.
Sure.
Sure. We'll do. Generally, I used to share.
So it is an open house now. Can we please have the questions and the answers will be provided by Nisar Ahmed, sir? Any questions, anybody?
Yes. Any question now?
Yeah, Fatima has a question. You may ask Fatima.
Hello, sir. Assalamu alaikum.
Yes. Yes. Raise
Sir,
your
how
question.
to register multiple businesses on Udyam portal?
Multiple businesses.
On Udyam portal.
Udyam portal is there. Multiple business. That is, if you are different entities, as I mentioned in my part, if you are to do business through incorporated body, the objectives for which the company is formed should be very clearly stated. Multiple.
Actually,
That is
there are multiple
you have a 5 business
segments.
Hmm.
Our company is
Yes.
our
One
company
company.
is dealing with. Sir, we have textile manufacturing business and we have meat manufacturing business. We have meat business. So
No, I'm
not
not understanding. The same company is doing multiple business.
No, we have different companies,
I'm
but
sorry.
I am the owner of both the companies.
Same is doing.
We have two companies, and
Yes.
I'm the
All
owner
right.
of
All
two
those
companies.
companies need to register.
Yeah,
Right.
because
Right.
both of them are
Padma, what
manufacturing
you
companies, and I
do?
need to register for Udyam.
Right. One can register in an independent because every company is a legal entity. One can register with the Udyam, this portal to get benefits.
Yeah, I tried
And once
it.
you have registered with the MSME portal,
So let me
okay.
complete my question.
Any
I
difficulty
tried
you
it.
found?
Yeah, I found that on one Aadhaar card we can register only one form. Since I have two forms and
Right.
one Aadhaar card, how can I register my two forms with that?
For a company, as I mentioned, incorporated, minimum 2 directors required. So
Yeah.
if it is a company incorporated body, you must be having
No,
another
it is
director.
not.
So one
It
director
is a
can get
proprietor
registered in one.
company, sir.
The proprietor company, one business, multiple
Yeah.
business within the same
Yes.
division. You can suit. You can treat it as one division, same division, different division of that company. See, Fatima.
Yeah.
Proprietor is the one, like Nizar Ahmed is a proprietor. I
Yeah.
can do business with so many segments, but it cannot
Right.
be treated as separate legal entity. You can say separate legal unit, but it's not legal entity.
Okay.
That's why I'm referring that a proprietor is because you have to draw a balance sheet, only one balance sheet.
Yeah.
You can't have 5 balance sheet for a proprietor. One proprietor cannot have more business because you have to have one. His balance sheet would be under his PAN because proprietor doesn't issue any PAN number. So proprietor is to file one income tax return with regard to multiple businesses doing consolidated and file one business, one report, one return. Therefore, this MSME registration would be only one registration under one Aadhaar.
Okay.
You can't
So
get it more
I
than
have
one.
to make one company, one name, and I can create parent company and something like that because my manufacturing businesses both have different names. I can't
What I
have
suggest
same
to
name
you in this
entity.
case,
Yeah.
yes, I can suggest you to this that have the body corporate format. The liability would be minimum because in case of non-liability, unlimited liability kind of company, any business failed or anything is there, it is an individual who is now going to pay from his or her system. In the incorporated format, one really has to limited the liability. The liability is limited to the extent of shares. Yes. So nobody is going to ask unless you have given your personal liability guarantee for some loan. Generally, they do ask the bankers, smart bankers, they do ask the individual director and shareholders to give personal guarantee.
Okay.
Then in that scenario, only the company would be liable to make payment of any default, but not the individual shareholders. So I think I'll suggest you to switch if you're in multiple business.
So I can incorporate the body and have multiple businesses running under one body.
Yes, you can have this objectives similar to do one business, two business. You can use as a unit, separate unit registered under, then it will be registered as separate unit under MSME.
Okay, so they all would have different name, different directors, and everything would be. Thank you so much.
Welcome. Yes. Anyone else? Any question? Anybody have any question?
Can we have questions, please?
No question, then we can conclude. Or still we have 10 minutes, 15 minutes.
Should we conclude or should we wait for any responses?
Hello.
What do you suggest? Yeah.
Yeah. Assalamu alaikum.
जी वालेकुम अस्सलाम। आसिफ इकबाल। जी जी जनाब, कैरी ऑन।
Yeah, I'm calling from Chhattisgarh, Raipur, Chhattisgarh.
जी सर।
I just want to know that I have my own private limited company, and what are the norms to convert it into a public limited?
Okay. For private company to public company, only resolution is required, shareholders resolution,
Okay.
nothing more. Increase the, if the numbers of members, shareholders are less than 7, increase the number to 7.
Okay.
And if the number of directors in the private company, only 2, which is minimum requirement, increase the director to 3.
Okay.
And that's all. Pass a resolution, file form in the registrar of companies, pay 200 rupees fees, that's all. Then your company become, then memorandum and articles of association require to be added the word private would be deleted from the memorandum and articles. The altered copy of memorandum and article, a special resolution copy passed by shareholders.
Do we
Filed with the
do we
registrar of
need to change GST numbers and all for that? No.
No, say only you have to notify. See,
Okay.
because the word is only what you are doing, you are only deleting the word private. Because in a limited company, the word private doesn't exist. Public limited company, there is no word called so and so public limited. It is not like that. The public limited companies say XYZ limited. All right. In case of a private company, XYZ private limited. So what private is there for public, private company. But once you are deleting and then moving to public company, deleting the word, GST number only notification to all the places like PAN required to be amended because in the PAN you have the private word. So you have to notify to all the agencies that name of the company has been changed, and then you will be issued a certificate of incorporation consequent upon change. Status are concerned, Chhattisgarh Registrar.
Okay. Okay.
All right.
Sir, is there any rules for issuing shares to? I have not converted into public limited company. It's a private limited right now, and we have issued shares to almost 30 to 40 members. We have taken some investment in our company. So is that any date we have taken money, so within 1 month or 2 months we have to issue shares to them? Is that like
up to private limited company can go to have the members up to 200. So up to 200 members you can add. Only thing is there now, if you are going through internal arrangement through your friends, relatives, etc. But if you are issuing a kind of document asking public at large to participate in the capital, then you need to register first the document with the registrar of companies. There is a section called section 42 of the Companies Act, which is required to be looked into and complied with. This is mandatory. You have to open a bank account separate, share application, money deposit, all the subscribers to the shares, they will issue the money, they will give the money and issue the form, and that money could be utilized after allotment. You can't use the money until the allotment of shares takes place. So that really has to take care of that part. Section 42 compliance. But in case of family, 7, 10 people, relatives, close relatives, then there is no problem. You have to see only the articles to say that if you are offering the share capital to other than existing shareholders, one really has to take NOC from them, pass a board resolution and shareholders resolution that you intend to offer to third party within the family or relatives or some friends who are not existing members. So articles of association need to be read what is all contents, whether permission is required or not from the members. If there is no such requirement, but generally in private limited company, as per my experience of 30-35 years, we used to see this kind of situation. So one really has to go back and see whether these provisions are there or not. If this is not there in the provisions, then one can go for that.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Is this clear or not?
Yes, sir. It's
All right,
almost clear. Thank you.
Right, sir. Any other question?
So yeah, anybody else? Any questions, anybody? Last call. Any questions? Go ahead. You may shoot and ask. I think Nisar sir, आपका yeah unmute हो गया. So now I take the opportunity of like inviting Injila Khan to give the vote of thanks. Do we have a question from anybody? Yes, please. So we are moving ahead to the vote of thanks. I hereby hand over the stage to, rather the virtual stage to Injila Khan.
Fatima, I think you raised some hand and some question.
Fatima,
Is
you
there
have
any
a question? आपका
I-
mic.
yeah,
Go on.
So, if I convert my company into an incorporated body, will I be eligible for startup registration?
Which section eligible for
Startup registration.
a startup?
Yeah.
Yes. If you incorporate a company and get registration under a Startup India concept, answer is yes, you can get all benefits of a startup
Hello.
under incorporated format. Requirement here is the company should be incorporated under incorporated format.
All right, sir.
Get
And
separate register. Fatima, listen. After incorporation of a company under the Companies Act, you need to go and get it registered once again to the portal, Startup India, to get benefit of tax.
Yeah.
Once it is registered only and only, then only you can have the registration exemption for 3 years, tax exemption, concession,
right.
and other bidding, etc. All those benefit of a Startup India benefit would be extended to registered entity and not others.
All right, sir. And sir, for incorporating bodies, you said zero filing fee. So if I go to my CA,
If the authorized capital is proposed to be 15 lakhs or less for capital, now they have given a benefit to encourage the small entrepreneur, even if they don't want to have more capital, only like service provider kind of character. So those who are service provider, or they don't need more capital to the business. So only 5 lakhs rupees required and something 10 lakhs. So to that extent, to encourage those youngsters or entrepreneur, the government has given exemption, one-time exemption from registration fee of the capital registration fees. That is a very nominal amount. But anyway, that registration charge is not that very huge. Filing fee is also 200 rupees.
So if I go to my CA and ask him for to convert my company into incorporated body, he can do it, right?
Oh yes, definitely. You can also try yourself sometime. Go to the site, get yourself involved to go through, as I mentioned, that mca.gov.in, the portal of ministry. A lot of informations are there.
Yeah.
Download those information, read it, so that one can not go and as a lay person. You are informed person when you are going to talk to any consultant. You are an informed person. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Pleasure.
So yeah, I think it is time to.
No question.
Yeah, do we have any other questions? I think we should move towards the vote of thanks. So I hereby invite Injila Khan to, I hand over the virtual stage to her. Injila Khan, over to you.
Thank you, Shaista. On behalf of Empire, I would like to propose a jovial vote of thanks to Mr. Nisar Ahmed. Thank you, sir, for having delivered profuse information, and I'm highly grateful to you for giving your precious time to Empire. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. It was really informative. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.